Hi everybody, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. I have a little bit of sun in my eye right now, so I hope that's going to be, it's a little distracting to me, but I hope it's not distracting to you. As always, I appreciate you being here, and I would like you to like, share, subscribe if you feel so inclined, and also to please watch out for scammers. I will never email you directly for a reading. That's just not what I do. If you're interested in a personal reading, please follow me over on Instagram at honeydrops.tarot. But let's get started. Today I am using the Tarot of Mystical Moments by Katrin Wildstein, and for your oracle I'm going to use the Wild Unknown archetype. And eventually I'll have them listed below. I just haven't gotten there yet. I just kind of wanted to get some readings out there. I'm going to pull 5 cards for this reading. It's going to be a little bit shorter than the last one. Still kind of playing around with formatting and frame rates and how long it takes to upload and all those things, so thank you for bearing with me. 5 cards for your reading and 5 cards of clarification. So let's get started. I hope everybody's doing okay. Wow, that one went right into the plant that's sitting beside my desk. So I never choose the cards. I let them flip out on their own. I do read reversals. This deck is pretty special because it has some divine masculine and some divine feminine depictions of the court cards. So we might get some repeats in here, but that just adds to the depth of the reading. I love this deck. I hope you do too. It's very, I'm sure if you watch tarot, you've seen it before, but it's just lush and gorgeous. And I don't always use it, but you know, because it's like you don't always want to use something that's so special. And I am going to pull your oracle card right off the bat. So, oh, that's very nice. Okay, so let me just situate myself here. The very first card that you have, which is in the past position, so what you were dealing with in the recent past, you got the 4 of Wands. This is a beautiful card. They often call this card the 1111 card. Sometimes, and as we know, 1111 is kind of a very divine number. When you see 1111 on your clock, on a license plate, I once saw it on a receipt from a big dinner that I threw for a party for my family once. The check number was 1111, and for some reason that's coming back to me right now. So maybe you have been seeing a lot of this number as you've been driving down the street, or addresses or whatever it is, but also can represent the card of twin flames. If you don't know what that is, you can check that out. That's a much bigger conversation. What it talks about is stability, a firm foundation. So you've been working on something to make sure that you have I wanted to say bedrock, a firm bedrock underneath your feet, that whatever expansion or growth that you're going through right now, you put a lot of things in place to ensure that as you were growing, you could always fall back on something, right? So it's this idea that when we have a really solid soul tribe, soul community, that if we go out into the world and we kind of try something daring and it doesn't work out, that we have something to fall back on, right? You get the picture of that one. It's clarified by the, so sorry, there's a little bit of glare here, but it's clarified by the 7 of Cups. This is a gorgeous card. She's kind of sitting on this cloud, on these stars. It's almost like, is she wishing on a star? Or is she placing those stars in the sky. Seven of Cups talks about, traditionally it would talk about a little bit of confusion. Cups energy represents emotion, psychic realms. So it's almost like you were, in building this firm foundation, you were following your intuition, and somewhere along the way you could have gotten a little mixed up as far as which road to take. So almost like your intuition was betraying you, or not betraying is a harsh word. Sometimes when we think that our intuition is speaking to us, it could actually be our ego, or it could be outside influences. And even though I see a very fruitful outcome in terms of the work that you put into something, the path to get there might have been influenced by a lot of factors. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you happen to be, you know yourself, so if you happen to be a really indecisive person and you start asking a lot of different people for advice or watching tarot videos, you might be hearing a lot of notes from the peanut gallery, right? You might be hearing a lot of different opinions, and it may have gotten you a little mixed up, but that's okay, because ultimately what we have here is really beautiful. And you can see those two characters kind of dancing on the top. What I'm actually really drawn to is, like, scale in these cards is really incredible, because the idea is this house seems really big, but then the birds seem really big, and for some reason that's becoming relevant, that they're almost like your spirit guides. It's like the perspective coming out towards the viewer. It's like your spirit guides are watching you celebrate and saying, you know, even if you got confused along the way, you found your path. That's a really good thing. In the present, we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So this is what she looks like in the upright. So sorry for the glare, but the sun is, it's kind of golden hour here. And so the sun is just at that angle as to be a little bit of a distraction. This is a gorgeous card. It's very, very lush in this deck. You can see her dress is made out of all of these beautiful flowers and petals, and the bunnies in the corner here suggesting fertility, abundance, lushness, very heart-centered, and that's interesting. See this color? It's coming from one of my crystals. It's falling like right over my heart chakra. So something having to do with the heart chakra and the sacral chakra represented here. Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Maybe it took a lot out of you financially. You know, maybe this has to do literally with the purchase of a house, a condo, something that might have been part of a passion project, and now you might be a little worse for wear in terms of your pocket money. The Four of Swords in the reverse, clarifying that card. You can see here, Four of Swords usually represents rest and relaxation, recuperation. So it's almost like saying now, right? Like, great, we have this beautiful foundation, off to an amazing start, but I could use a little bit of extra cash flow or extra resources at this time. And this card clarifying it is you kind of, I almost see somebody kind of jumping up out of a chair and being like, oh my God, I gotta get to work. I gotta get to work. So a little bit of earnestness is what I want to say. A little bit of, there's a little bit of pep in your step in terms of, okay, I gotta buckle down and really get my finances in order. I have to make sure that everything is on time and we're ahead of schedule and I'm falling behind. And you know, you're still in that beautiful queen energy. Whether or not, male, female, it's not about gender, right? It's about energy. Queen energy, divine feminine energy is allowing things to manifest and come to you, having confidence, right? So you could be feeling a little off kilter right now, but that's okay. Being aware and kind of stopping and assessing. Okay, so now I see, it's almost like you didn't realize you were feeling so anxious because you've been moving so quickly, because you were so determined to accomplish a certain goal in the past. Maybe you recently moved or you switched jobs or something and you're in a much better job, but the application process and the recommendation letters and the interviews, it's like you were moving 1,000 miles an hour, and now that you're like in the place that you want to be and you have a moment to breathe, you're realizing, oh God, like I've been neglecting all of these other responsibilities that I have. I'm okay, but now that kind of anxiety is just creeping in. But being aware of it and taking a moment to recenter yourself and ground yourself, that's really important right now. In the future energy of the Seven of Wands in reverse. So this is the Seven of Wands. He's kind of this like muscle man at a carnival. You can see he's kind of covered in tattoos. Seven of Wands energy is fire energy, right? So the Seven of Wands is a card that sometimes denotes a blocking energy, but you're trying to kind of step out of that energy. The card in reverse, it's almost like saying, if I'm feeling in the present moment that I'm in this like anxious state and I'm trying to manifest more for myself, then the future energy, you would have to be very aware of the fact that when we are in an energy of anxiety, we hinder abundance coming towards us, right? That seems really, really key. And with the Strength card in reverse, clarifying that card, Strength card is a card of Leo, and it's a major arcana. So what that means is it's kind of like Spirit it's your first major arcana of the reading so far. It's the 6th card that came out, so it's the first major arcana for you for this reading. Spirit is really trying to drive home the message that even fear is a product of the ego. Because the ego is there in some cases to protect us. To have a healthy ego means to have a healthy sense of self while also having a healthy relationship with others, right? So in this case, with these two cards clarifying one another, it's like Spirit is saying to me that part of the ego that was kind of blocking your abundance is now having to be put in check, okay? So this could look like oh, I got this, I'm fine, you know. Oh, I can just make more money, it's fine, I don't even have to worry about it. Well, to a certain extent, if we really truly believe in ourselves, that may be true, but we want to have a healthy relationship and not be in a space of arrogance to think that money grows on trees, or opportunities are everywhere, but we have to be in a space of mindfulness and gratefulness to have our eyes open to the right kind of opportunities, right? So Spirit is saying that it's good to, in your future energy, to just really keep it under control, because it's not under control right now. This is when a person is sitting fully in a balanced state of the Strength card. The lion would represent the ego, and that lion is under control. And right now, I don't know, it's like almost like Spirit is warning you not to overcompensate. Does that make sense? You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Just take care of your business. You don't have to work so hard to prove yourself to anyone. Sometimes when this card is in the upright, it suggests that you're blocking everybody else. Like, I don't need you. I don't need your help. Sometimes we need to ask for help. Right? Sometimes we can't handle it all on our own. Even though we think we can, there's a part of you in a future tense that may have to. The expression, or the sentence that came to my mind was, the expression that came to my mind just now was eat crow. Because I have all of these feathers on my desk that I find, I pick up feathers whenever I see them, if they're in decent condition. I wash them, don't worry. But eat crow. You know, I don't ever use that expression, so I don't even know if I'm using it properly. But maybe somebody has used that expression with you, or you thought of that, or crows are somehow significant to you. So that's your future tense energy. It's just being grounded and being mindful and admitting when you might need some assistance. And it's interesting too, because the next card is advice from Spirit. You've got the Seven of Swords here. Right. Things can be a little deceiving, because if we just look at this card, she's got this beautiful egg. She looks kind of like a little bit of a maiden energy. And look a little bit closer, she's a serpent. And it appears that she's actually stealing these eggs. Seven of Swords can be a card of deception and trying to get away with something. It's not always a bad card, but in this case, it doesn't feel quite right. So Spirit is saying, in terms of your advice, to and I'm a Pisces moon, so this applies to me too, but Spirit is saying always act with the best possible outcome in mind that not only serves you, but serves the greater good. And if you are surrounded by anyone that puts you in a position where you compromise yourself or your values, your integrity, it's best to leave that in the past or leave that alone. With the World card in reverse, clarifying it, right? It kind of, World card to me, also a major arcana, talks about chapters. You are doomed to repeat a chapter of karma, which is what I'm hearing right now, if you don't learn the lesson. That's very harsh advice from Spirit, but I have to, it might just resonate for one person out there, and you, if it feels a little like you've been in a little sneaky energy lately, Spirit says kind of quit it. Just quit that energy. Okay, it's not in your best interest, so because it's just going to perpetuate a cycle. We don't want that. Right? We don't want chapters to keep lingering forever. If they keep lingering forever, it means that we haven't learned what we need to learn. Okay? And what is it that you want at the moment? This is the last two cards. What is it that you're hoping for? The Fool card in reverse. I love this card because it's like, look at this like crocodile alligator thing, and you don't see what's underneath the surface, but then it's just this little, seems like this little innocuous plant with a little flower on the end, and oh, how beautiful. I could just pick that, right? Not knowing what's underneath, never knowing what's underneath. The Fool card is also major arcana. It talks about taking a great leap of faith. And you may be hesitating on taking another step forward. Maybe because in the past position, you're just like, I'm tired. I worked so hard to just build this solid foundation. But there's a part of you that's just like, you know what? There's a little bit of momentum behind me, and I know that I need to move forward. Okay? Not at the expense of what I wanted to say was your good name. Not at the expense of your good name. Why? Because the Fool card in reverse is clarified by the Empress. This is my absolute favorite card in tarot. The number 3, the major arcana, divine feminine energy, the power of all 4 queens in the tarot. She is absolutely, as you can see here, this is kind of an interesting card because the Empress represents fertility, not just pregnancy, but fertility of ideas, growth, expansion. And we can see here all of this beautiful abundance, right? The Empress is someone who allows things to come to her because she's so balanced, right? If she represents all 4 queens, then she's so sure of herself, and not in an arrogant way, in just a deep knowingness, right? So there's a part of you that wants to take that leap of faith, and it requires you to be in that state of deep knowingness that you're just meant to do it. No matter what the criticism, the consequences, you're just, if you are on a certain path that you're meant to be on, and it's like your duty to yourself to follow it. Okay, so I hope this reading resonated for someone. As your Oracle card, you got the Nectar, which always makes me smile, because the nectar, you know, honey, nectar, you get it, right? I'm going to read from the book, so just bear with me one moment. The Nectar the medicine, the elixir, the garden. In Hindu mythology, there is a miraculous substance known as amrit, or nectar, that contains infinite healing power. This golden nectar, or sacred elixir, is the drink of immortality, and, like its sister substance, soma, is known to activate subtle, intelligent forces that ease the mind, body, and spirit. Though esoteric, these images lead us to the central energy of this archetype, the sweet, potent, heavenly essence that lubricates our spirit back to life. The Nectar card calls us to identify and relish in places, practices, people, and activities that regenerate and heal. Medicine is needed, and it comes in subtle form that you may be overlooking. Seek the most sensuous, fragrant flower in the garden that you've forgotten. Don't underestimate this remedy. It is said that when someone has activated the substance within, it is reflected in their shimmering eyes. So this is actually bringing me back to the Strength card and the nectar within. It's kind of like saying, try to look at yourself very deeply this week and contemplate what you uniquely offer to the world. That's the ticket. That's always going to be the ticket, is your unique presence, and how you operate in the world is going to be like no one else. And that's the thing that you always need to look to. That inner guidance system within you is your uniqueness. Okay, so I hope that resonated with you. Please like, share, subscribe if you feel that you would like to, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Pisces.